Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back once and for all to your final lecture. You made it. Here we are. And this week we are going to be covering what I'll call American 21st century literature as we know it. This spans from the 2000s to the present day. So we're covering very current topics here. We're going to be exploring how this literary era, we could say, responds to our most pressing issues such as globalization, identity and trauma, and most importantly, disconnection through four very powerful novels. So let's dive right in, shall we? Now, literature in the 21st century has shifted dramatically. We have moved beyond the Cold War anxieties and postmodern irony, but today's works grapple with more directly the aftermath of 9/11. Again, multiculturalism within global migration, digital alienation, most of all, which brings a deep sense of emotional and social disconnection. Again, very cheery topics. So, to start, we're going to read Jonathan Safran Foer's Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. You may know this already. There was a film that came out not too long ago about it. But Foer, he was born in 1977. He is a Jewish American writer, and he's known for using unconventional narrative forms to explore trauma, such as in this work, which responds directly to the 9/11 attacks through the eyes of Oscar Schell, who is a very curious boy who loses his father in the 9/11 attacks. So, key themes include grief and emotional numbness, intergenerational trauma through Oscar's grandparents and their World War II experiences, alongside a search for meaning in the wake of tragedy. Foyer uses photos, blank pages, and visual fragmentation, which turns the novel itself into an artifact of memory and mourning. If you want to see a visual representation of this that might not be available in the sample we read for the class, just let me know. I'm sure you could find it online, but I also own the book and I can show that to you if that helps. So just let me know. All right. Next, we're going to turn to Jhumpa Lahiri, born in 1967 to Bengali immigrant parents. Her work is foundational in immigrant culture. In The Namesake, we follow Gangul Ganguly, a second-generation Indian American who navigates two worlds. The novel explores the struggle of naming and renaming oneself, tension between heritage and assimilation, and how that affects family and identity when they intersect across generations. It reflects the broader experience of post 1965 South Asian immigration and the feeling of being, quote, in between cultures. All right, our third author is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's a Nigerian American born writer in 1977, and she's known for her very bold insights into both race, gender, and migration. Americana tells the story of Ifemelu, a Nigerian woman who moves to the US, starts a blog on race, and eventually returns to Nigeria. The novel examines the immigrant experience from a non Western lens, very important, hair politics as a metaphor for assimilation and identity, and romantic and cultural displacement in two countries. Adichie's use of blog entries gives the narrative an immediate confessional tone, adding layers of social critique. Oh, zooming in and out on this. All right, sorry, that was moving around a little bit. But finally, we come to Ottessa Moshfegh, born in 1981. Her work is unsettling and dark, often focused on alienation, privilege, and mental health. In this novel, the unnamed protagonist of My Year of Rest and Relaxation which is a wealthy young woman. She decides to sleep for an entire year using a cocktail of prescription drugs. The novel critiques capitalist exhaustion and wellness culture, depression and emotional detachment, and the aesthetic superficiality of pre 9/11 New York. Moshfegh's satirical, deadpan voice makes the protagonist's numbness feel eerily familiar in our very hyper consumist world. That's it. So, let's get into some key takeaways. Each author reflects their very cultural and historical moment, but also challenges what we expect literature to do. So let's pause here quickly and consider how these authors redefine what it means to be American today. And in what ways do these characters heal or fail to heal from their disconnection? Very important. How does form, whether blog posts or other forms of fragmented narration, shape our emotional engagement with the text? Considering that 21st century American literature is very globalized, crossing borders of culture and drama, let's consider how trauma seems to still be central, whether it's rooted in terrorism, race, or identity. Psychological introspection and emotional detachment do reflect today's mental landscape, and diverse authors are not on the margins in this era. Again, we can call it, they define literature now. So this kind of continues what we talked about in contemporary literature. Narrative experimentation mirrors our unstable, information overloaded world. I think that's where this sort of 21st century literature is a bit of a shift from contemporary literature, because there's such a rapid development in how our culture and history is moving. It has to respond differently, and I think for 21st century literature, um, mirroring the unstable, information overloaded world is really key here, in my opinion. All right. And that's it. You made it to the end. Congratulations. If you have any questions, as always, office hours, course chat, you know the drill. And yeah, thanks, guys, and good luck. Happy reading, and talk to you soon. Bye.